Alright, so now we know all about hacking and information gathering, and we know about how to install or configure our vulnerable machine. We are ready to start scanning some open ports as well now. But before we can scan any website or any vulnerable machine, we need to first discover what machine are on the network. So let's take a look at how to identify the host on your network, and in this case we will act like we are tasked with the scanning of our home network for any vulnerable machine to look into. So first we need to figure out how many hosts are online and what their IP addresses are, and to do this we need to scan our whole network range. For example, I know that all possible hosts lies in the network range of 192.168.29.1 to 192.168.29.255, as my network range starts from 192.168.29.1. so I know what my range is. So I can ping all these devices in this range to see which ones are online or not. So if I have to do it manually and ping each host, I could discover which one are active for each device that responds to my ping, but I would know it's online. The downside here is that if I had 10 devices or 10 other networks to test, pinging each host one by one would take a way too long time, and we need to be more efficient in this thing. So that's where we use tools like ARP. ARP tool is in Kali Linux that uses ARP packets to help discover host on a network. You will see ARP packets being used in network communication as well, but we will talk about that one more later. Before we start using ARP, make sure your vulnerable metasploitable machine is up and running, and connect any other device to the internet as well. This will give us multiple devices to scan and try to figure out which IP belongs to which host. So as you can see, I have multiple devices running here. I'm running my Windows 7 virtual machine as well, both metasploitable, one Kali Linux virtual machine, and the main machine that we are practicing our ethical hacking on. So now let's check out ARP, and we have our terminal open here, and we will type command here sudo ARP-A, and it will ask for our sudo privileges and ask for password. We will enter that, and as you can see, it has given me output of my home network only. Well, ARP shows only devices that have communicated with your machine, which means if I haven't pinged or interacted with any other device, it won't show up. So let's try pinging our metasploitable first, and for that we have to know the IP address of our metasploitable. So that was 29.122. So let's just ping here our metasploitable. We will type ping, and we will type the IP address here, that is this. And now as you can see, the communication is being established, packets are transferring, and we will Control C it. And now again we will type the same command that we used earlier, that is sudo ARP-A. And as you can see, we have the device, we have our metasploitable here as well in the output. And how did I know that we have our metasploitable here? Because of the IP address, that is 192.168, that is 192.168.29.122. So now that's done, and I can run. So ARP is okay, but it's not always the best for discovering host on the network. Sometimes you need a tool that does it automatically, and you need not to ping every device on your network. So that's where Netdiscover comes in play. To use Netdiscover, you just have to type in your terminal a command that is sudo for root privileges and then Netdiscover. And once we type Netdiscover, you are prompted with output like this, and it might take some time in scanning your network, finding all the devices connected to it without needing it to ping them first. It works by detecting ARP requests and replies from device on the network. Netdiscover will simply display your IP address, MAC addresses, MAC vendor name or host name of the device it detects. So for example, you can see I have multiple devices here on my Netdiscover output. As you can see, the first device is my router, second is my own laptop, the host machine, the third one might be my own mobile phone, and the all other four you are seeing right here is the virtual machine. As you remember, we had this IP address in our meta1 metasploit table, and this is the IP address of my another metasploit table, the last one, and this IP address is of my, and the second last IP address is of my Windows 7 vulnerable machine, and this one is my another Kali Linux virtual machine's IP address. So as you can see, Netdiscover had done it automatically without even pinging each device separately. So from this list I can see my metasploitable machine and my laptop and each and every device here. So now you can just type Ctrl C here to stop this scanning and just type clear once, and we have cleared our terminal. If you want to double check which device is your router, it's usually easy to identify. Router often have IP address ending with 0.1 as I have shown you, but just to be sure you can use netstat command. So and as you can see, we have our kernel IP routing, and here the IP address of our router is shown. So yes, the IP address of router generally ends with 0.0 or 0.1. So under the gateway column you will find your IP address of your router, and they should match with the one that identified earlier in the Netdiscover scan. And if it's ending with 0 and in the Netdiscover part your IP address was ending with 0.1, you need not to worry about that, because generally IP addresses end with that. So now that we have discovered the devices on our network, we can start scanning our vulnerable metasploit machine, and for this video I have covered everything you need to learn about discovering host on your network.